It is time to go over my annual top 10 movies of the year. This is not a list that is my personal, best movies of 2018. These are just my personal favorites that I would like to highlight this year as my potential favorite movie experiences I had. So, without further ado, let's get started. So hello, it's Samurai Kibiji, in which every week I encourage you to be geek, be proud, be awesome. And if you're a fan of mine, you'll notice this is like the first time I have done a green screen video, at least I think since 2015 when I reviewed Halo 5. And I got one of these for Christmas, and this top 10 movies is always like a passion project of mine, so I thought this would be a good time to try this out. Also, you might see that I'm a little bit snazhed up today, and that's because this is my sort of Oscars of the best movies of the year, so I don't know, let's just dress up. Now, as per usual, this list was freaking hard, and it's always hard, but this is a gun to my head order. I saw what I could. Here's my picks. At number 10, Tag. There's a lot of people scratching their heads right now because a lot of people thought this movie was mediocre or not good or whatever, and it's not. It's not a good, necessarily well-made film. I love my friends, and that's what this movie is ultimately about. It's kind of just a movie about friendship and how we grow up, and sometimes we start to lose track of each other through marriages, jobs, moving, and so on. When we start to grow into adults, we start to lose a lot of our friends from our childhood. And I really liked that this movie kind of addressed that. And yes, it does it in a comedic way, and it's not necessarily like a drama or anything. I just like the moral that this movie had, and it made me want to hit up some friends and so on. And I still to this day, I like to try to think of group get-togethers that could reunite us. I like the movie with its powerful moral. At number 9, Love, Simon. Everybody deserves to come out of the closet in their own way, and that's what this movie's about. It's about Simon, and he explains his life, and he's got one big secret being that he hasn't come out of the closet yet. And I love the way this movie presents it. That's the thing. It does it in such a charming fashion, and I really like that. It does it in a very light-hearted, charming fashion that isn't necessarily just the tween movie. It's done in a way that's really just nice. It's a very nice film. It's not super overdramatic. It's not super cheesy. It got me teary-eyed a few times, especially when the family gets involved, because I'm a sucker for family stuff. And especially the cast. I thought the cast of the movie was really great all around. There's just one character that's pretty irredeemable, but I really enjoyed this movie. In fact, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, so props to you, Love, Simon. There is a little bit of bitterness I have towards this movie. Black Panther. Black Panther was a movie, the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, I like that. I thought it was fine. It was good. And I didn't think it deserved all the box office recognition. That's just me. I didn't think it deserved all the box office craziness that it got. But then after the second or third time I watched it, I believe I've seen this movie 3 times now, it just starts to get better and better to me. And I start to see more and more stuff in it and appreciate it more. And it has an amazing villain, a spectacular soundtrack, and such a great brought to life world that the director of Creed did, honestly. I very much love what the director of Creed did previously, and then he got to do this movie, and it turned out freaking awesome. Michael B. Jordan does a great job. There's so many great side characters in it. At first, I liked this movie, but the more I watch it, I like it more and more and more. By the way, speaking of Creed, we got Creed 2. Creed 2 is starting to dabble into this part of the list that I started to really love. While the fight choreography and the music wasn't quite as awesome to me as the first movie, this one was just still, I love the way it's shot. First off, it's super contrasty and really nicely color corrected. It's still got some great fight sequences in it, really nice montages of working out, and really Michael B. Jordan for this movie. It's one of the best performances I've seen of him, if not the best. He stole the show almost every scene he's in, honestly. The biggest thing, though, surprisingly, was the villains. They did a really good job of flushing them out and not making them seem like just another body to beat, It's not just a villain. You actually sympathize with what their situation is. And I love that. By the end, I didn't know who to root for. So I enjoyed this film. I honestly did. I'd like to see it again. To wrap up this bottom half of the list, number 6 is Green Book. This movie is heavily reliant on the strong-ass chemistry that these two have in this movie. Viggo and Mahershala are so good in this movie. It's a story about Viggo driving Mahershala across the US for this tour for Mahershala to do music. but this is a time where racism is definitely still a thing, and they're going through the South of all places for it to be that time. I think they both did awesome jobs, but Mahershala Ali, he has a couple scenes that's just like, damn, he's becoming a new favorite actor of mine, honestly. I really freaking love him. This movie's funny. It's freaking funny. It's got a lot of moments where they balance each other out because one's really tough and the other one's really elegant, so they kind of have to, learn off of each other. It's a really good movie about friendship, really, and how these two guys get to know each other over the course of this road trip. I really like this movie. My top 5, those are my favorite of the year. It's like a gun to my head order. But before we get into that, I just want to mention a few things that I really wanted to be in like the bottom half of this list. First off, Tully, this is probably the most recent movie I watched in this list. I freaking enjoyed it. I thought it was a great story of like a mom and dealing with motherhood and with some decently surprising elements added to it. I really liked it. Isle of Dogs, honestly, I kind of just wanted to put this on my list because of how quirky it is, but it was such an oddball movie and I really liked its style of animation, so I just want to mention it. And Ready Player One, this movie was so hard for me not to put in this list because I really did like it, but like thinking about it, there is a lot of issues about it that like could have made it so much better. I still really liked it. Don't get me wrong. I still really liked it. And that's why I want to mention it. Just honorable mention. I did want to put it in this list. And finally, a biggie that was hard for me to leave off of it was A Quiet Place. This movie was probably like, to me, the most fresh this year. I thought it was super original with its concept and I wanted it on this list so bad. And yet instead I put on things like Tag. Like, really? Now, my top 5 of the year. I'm telling you, like, these 5 are practically tied. But let's kick it off with number 5, Searching. When you watch the trailer to this, you're gonna think, this is so gimmicky. This is so silly. Like, why would somebody want to watch this? Dude, it's so awesome. I was so surprised by how much I freaking loved this movie. This is a story about a father trying to find his daughter. So they did a good job in the first 5 minutes of the movie to really get you attached to their relationship. Honestly, the first 10 minutes. Once you're attached to the two of them as a father and daughter, the rest of the movie, you're just buckled in nonstop to freaking find out where the hell is this guy's daughter. And it's done in this way that's so believable. Like you see people type out their messages because it's all like through Skype and messaging and so on. It looks weird like that, but I really like that perspective. But this movie was freaking entertaining nonstop, like nonstop. Holy crap, I cannot believe that this is not my top 3, but it's like gun to my head, I have to say, number 4 is Avengers Infinity War. I freaking love this movie. I freaking loved it. The first time I watched Avengers Infinity War, I literally came out of it and I still hold true. This year, Thanos is the best villain of the year, hands down. Thanos is what made that movie so awesome to me. The Russos did such a good job of culminating everything the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done until now, and you got to see everybody come in. It's crazy. This movie should not have been possible. That's the thing I got to give it. This movie should not have been possible, but the Russos managed to make it work. And yes, the first time I thought there was too much going on a little bit, but then once I knew what to expect, the second time I watched it, I actually liked it a bit more. I love this movie. I really did. I cannot believe it's not even in my top 3. But what the hell? Beat it. This list, I'm telling you, this was freaking hard. Number 3, this was easily, to me, there's no movie this year that gave me more entertainment than this film. Non-stop, Mission Impossible Fallout. This is probably my all-time favorite Mission Impossible, not gonna lie. Mission Impossible Fallout was the greatest action movie this year, if not the past few years. There's so much practical shit in it. Tom Cruise being put into these situations that I don't understand how he does it. I really don't. I don't understand how the director does it. I really don't. They jumped out of planes. They flew actual helicopters. They freaking jumped across buildings. They actually drove these cars. Like, they did all this stuff, and you can tell when you're watching it. And because of all that practical elements to it, it just was so entertaining, and the music was fun. The characters were fun. And it had a plot that was engaging enough. I loved how it recalled so many of the past movies. This is the Mission Impossible movie for Mission Impossible fans. Like, no joke. You're in for a non-stop action-packed ride that, like, was so entertaining to watch. This list is freaking hard. This list is freaking hard. At least my top 4. They're tied. They are tied. But number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie, I can't believe I'm saying this. This was my favorite Spider-Man movie. This was my all-time favorite Spider-Man movie. I want people to see this. I want people to go to the theaters. If you haven't seen it yet, go right now. You have like another week or 2. You don't have to make superhero movies live action. You don't have to make anime or whatever. They don't have to be live action for it to be good, for it to make money. I want this movie to prove that. It was so stupendous. The characters were awesome. Even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, yes, as a Spider-Man fan, this movie is like Spider-Man the movie. It really is, because you get to see multiple Spider-Men. And never before has the moral and lesson that is Spider-Man been more accurately portrayed. This was a Spider-Man that I freaking connected with. The art direction in this film is easily my favorite of the year. This animation is I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like this movie before. It was freaking awesome. So hard for me not to put it in my like top movie, but what was it? A Star is Born. I honestly did not expect this. So when I was putting together this list, I thought that this might be like number 4, number 5. I knew it was gonna be in my top 5. But as I think about it, there's not a movie this year that made me more like emotionally resonant, emotionally hit, and it left an impact on me. I was engaged throughout the entire experience, and this was a drama. This is a hardcore drama. It engaged me. It's dramatic. I relate to a lot of artists, and this movie is about, you know, being an artist, being a singer, being a writer, whatever. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in this movie have awesome chemistry. They have crazy good performances. Easily, this film is going to get nominated for so many Oscars. No question in my mind. The soundtrack to this movie is amazing. There's nothing in this movie that I honestly had a problem with. It made me cry. It made me laugh. It put me at the edge of my seat. And it's a movie that honestly I want to own, and it's hard to watch it multiple times because of how emotionally powerful it is. It's equal to the other movies I put in my top 5 potentially, but I just, on a personal level, this one hit me the most this year. This list was freaking hard, and I hope this green screen worked out as well as you enjoyed me being dressed up like the most I've been dressed up in any of my videos. And please complain or agree or whatever in the comments. I love to engage in my comments, I really do, so leave a comment and I'll try my best to reply to yours or mention something or like it or whatever. What was a few of your favorites of 2018 this year? Because, yeah, this list was freaking hard. And of course, I'm looking forward to spending 2019 with you and the other peeps here in the community. And if it's the first time here, you can check it out, consider subscribing. You can check out like my previous top 10 lists down below. And of course, be geek, be proud, be awesome. Don't forget it. See you in another video below.